Hello everyone. Are you ready to hear yet another story? Today we'll be reading the story about the best nest. Oh, it rhymes best and nest. Wow, lovely. So let's start our story. Can you see these two lovely birds? Oh, and what are they carrying? And why are they carrying? Are they carrying it to make a nest? Let's see. So, once upon a time, there was a beautiful Mr. Bird. He was always happy and he would sing the song, I love my house, I love my nest. In all the world, my nest is the best. Happy little guy. But Mrs. Bird, his wife, didn't seem too happy. I just wonder why. Let's see. So she went to Mr. Bird and said, well, it's not the best. I think we can do better with a better nest. Oh, the little bird, Mr. Bird, was kind of confused because he loved his house. And Mrs. Bird told him, now go, Mr. Bird, please go and find a better place so that we can make a nest. Mr. Bird was really sweet, so he decided and he started to fly. And Mrs. Bird started to fly along with him. And there, on the bark of a tree, can you see the tree? On the bark of a tree, they saw a hole over there. And Mrs. Bird said, wow, that looks like a lovely place to make a nest. And as they went in, oh no, someone walked out and said, no, this place is taken. I live here. And both the birds got a little scared and they flew away. And as they were flying away, they came across a beautiful shoe. It seemed empty when they looked in and it was kept on the bench. So I'm sure it could be nobody, said Mr. Bird. And as they started deciding to make it a nest, oh no, well, Mrs. Bird said, you're wrong. It belongs to a foot. And a foot came in, and just as they were going to get squeezed, both of them flew away. And as they flew away, they came across a cute little post box which had a lovely red flag. Can you see the red flag? Mrs. Bird looked at it in excitement and said, oh, maybe this could be a new house. And as Mr. Bird looked inside, it was empty. And he just said, nobody lives there too. And they decided to make this their new home, thinking nobody is there. And as they started making themselves comfortable, oh no, something that they didn't notice. It was the mailman who came and put all the letters into the mailbox. And goodness gracious me, once again they were going to be squeezed and they just barely escaped and they flew away. And as they flew away, they saw a big tall building which was actually a church, and both of them flew right inside it. And as they went in, wow, Mrs. Bird looked really excited and she just thought the whole place looked lovely and empty. And Mr. Bird said, well, Mrs. Bird, do you like this place? Mrs. Bird, in absolute excitement, said, I love it, though it's a little big, but this is where our house, our nest could be. So they got really excited and they said, all right, let's build our nest now. So they ran to a lovely haystack, picked up a few strands of hay, and they flew further. As they flew further, a little lovely girl was drinking a nice strawberry soda And right then, Mr. Bird pulled out a straw and said, "All right, we can put that too." Mrs. Bird saw a broomstick, pulled out some hair of the broom, and there was a boy with a lovely blue sweater, but lots of threads coming out. So they pulled it to make their nest nice and warm. And they took the string, and then a man on a hammock reading his newspaper. Mrs. Bird pulled out yet another lovely yarn to make her lovely nest nice and warm. Whereas Mr. Bird said, "I have some nice stuffing, mattress stuffing, Mrs. Bird. It'll be awesome if we can put it into our nest. It'll make our nest so nice and cozy for our lovely birds, our baby birds." And then they saw, neigh, neigh. They saw a horse. They pulled out the hair. They saw a man. Ooh, they even pulled out the hair out of his beard and his long strands. And together they flew in the sky. Come on, point out the sky. Show me where's the sky. They flew in the sky and went back to the church to make their lovely nest. And just as they were busy making their nest, they were really excited. And Mrs. Bird sat down while Mr. Bird went out, and he stood on the arrow of the church and he sang, "I love our house, I love our nest. In all the world, our nest is the best." But what he didn't notice was Mr. Parker walking towards the church. Whoa! And he didn't realize why Mr. Parker was walking. And as Mr. Parker walked in, he pulled the long rope of the bell, and it went ding, dong, ding. But he didn't do that once. He did it yet another time. Ding, dong, ding. Oh my God! That bell made a loud noise. It was like an earthquake. Everything was shaking, and Mrs. Bird was rather scared. Wow, she was shaking too. And she quickly gathered the courage to fly out, and she flew away while the bell went on. Bong, bong, bong. Ding, dong, dong. And just as the bell stopped, Mr. Bird went in to see the nest totally destroyed, with Mrs. Bird missing too. So he quickly flew out to find Mrs. Bird, and he flew to the barn and he saw, and he also flew to a house. He looked down the chimney but didn't see Mrs. Bird. Then he reached the barn. He asked Mr. Horse, "Have you seen Mrs. Bird?" They all were surprised and they didn't know where she was. And then, to his utter dismay, he saw a big cat sleeping with lots of feathers around him. Mr. Bird was so sad and he began to cry. Did the cat eat Mrs. Bird? Well, seems so, he thought, because of the feathers all around him. And he began to cry and fly aimlessly. And as he began to fly, it started to rain. It started to pour. And he couldn't see anything when the skies were grey. And crash, boom, bang, he banged into something. And as he went in, he realized that that was his old house. And ta-da! He saw someone sitting there. That was Mrs. Bird. He was so happy to see her, and she was so happy to see him too. Excitedly, they both exchanged lovely notes, and Mr. Bird said, "Oh, I'm so happy you're safe." And Mrs. Bird said, "Surprise, surprise, surprise! Look what we have here, a small, cute egg." And that hatched and came out a beautiful small chick. And as the little chick popped out, they all sang it together. East or west, my nest is the best. That's our story for today. So, my little lovely kids, always love the things that you have. Cherish them, love them, and feel good. And thank God for all the beautiful things we all have. Till I see you again, take care. Bye.